gems. Cubs, would you like to come up and talk about Faden?
Sure. Okay. All right, so Faden was a tester piece. This was when Nick first got the Canon 5D. And he said, hey, Cuffs, you want to make a film? I said, sure. And then we got together, and he says, you're going to be a janitor. I said, okay, be a janitor. So we did everything for the janitor shots, and then he comes over one day, and I was drinking, and he says, hey, we need to pick up one more shot. And I said, okay. And that was the last part where I'm talking about my child that I'll never get to see. So yeah, it started off as a tester piece, and then we sent it out to, I think it was the Underground Film Festival of Arizona, and it did really well, and the response had been great. And that's it. That's Faden.
All right, now some quick board updates. I'm going to go really quick through these. Melissa Bonzak moved to the Keys. Darn her. She smiled and waved as she was going. So we have a member. We have a board spot open for members at for a member at large. Basically, you need to be a member in good standing, which means you need to pay your $10 a year, and you have to attend at least 2 of the meetings, I believe, within the last year. So if you're interested, if you fall within those categories and you're interested, I think we're doing some really good things here, regardless of me standing up here making bad jokes. So come on out, we could really use the help. And another one fit. I quit. Jana, they were laughing at your stuff. You come back up here. All right.
What would someone do if they were interested in being a member of the board? How would they express that interest?
Oh, good question, Chris. Just go ahead and give me an email or talk to one of the members that are currently on the board, and they're listed down at the bottom of your call sheet, and we'll throw it out and see what happens. Which is our treasurer is in NAB, and he has taken with him the IFASA executive summary, hoping to find some larger sponsors. So everybody send good positive thoughts to Vegas. We had a Mama's Hawaiian Barbecue fundraiser. If you went to Mama's Hawaiian Barbecue and told them you're with IFASA, then we got 20% of whatever money you spent. We made $12.25. Thanks to everyone who went out and ate, both of you. To be a member of IFASA, you get some perks. We're trying to highlight the perks as they come by. Again, you'll get your cards. If you are a member of IFASA, one of the companies that is offering discounts, Locker Self-Storage. There's 2 of them here in town. 10% off your monthly storage bill. Now, that means for all those tripods and jibs and props and everything else you have, if you're tired of walking around them, you can go get a unit and save 10%. Just show your IFASA card. I mean, maybe a card-making party or whatever. But all the cards are in. The printer's in. I think we have the design, so we're just got to sit down and get them cranked out now. But you can only print one at a time, unfortunately. There's no batch. So it's going to take us a little while. All right. As you know, as hopefully most of you know, we were advertising. A lot of the tech guys are in Vegas for NAB, which is the National Association of Broadcasters. So then we thought, with all the tech people out of the way, we could bring in the actors and focus on the actors this time. So we pulled together a panel of experts that have worked in the industry for several years and they're going to talk to you candidly about how you can improve your craft, things that you can do to get hired or better your profession. So if everybody would like to come up, first is Barbara Glover. She is an actress and an acting coach. Laurie Franklin Garcia is a script supervisor that is actually currently working in Hollywood. She was not able to come out. She did write down some information, and so I will be giving that to you, or maybe I'll have Jana do it. But we'll give you some information on what a script supervisor thinks you can do to help improve your craft. Fred Gibson unfortunately had a family emergency and was not able to show up tonight. For audio, we've got Rogelio Camarillo. And our director this evening is Perry Teo, who is a Hollywood director and has done several feature films that you can find at So, welcome everybody, and thank you so much for coming out. What we're going to do is, I guess everybody's going to kind of give a little their spiel, kind of let you know some thoughts. Once everybody gets through, we'll open it up for Q&A. Barbara.
Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Please use this. We have people that will hear you.
Okay, my name is Barbara Glover. I'm a Screen Actors Guild member. I have been since 1987. I've managed to eke out a career in Arizona. I've studied in New York and in LA, and lived in New York for 5 years, and I came back to Arizona for many reasons. I love Arizona. I love independent filmmaking. I've worked with several of the directors that are here tonight, and it's a great way to learn your craft. You need to learn your craft before you go in as much as possible. From what I have gleaned from being on professional sets, they can spend a lot of time on the tech. They can set up the shot, the sound, and everything else. But once it's ready and they call the talent in, they expect you to hit your mark, be professional, do your work, and give them what they want. Not to forget, not to not know your lines, not to be unprepared or not professional. That's your job as an actor. It's your job to know your craft. It's your job to practice, to work, to do stage work. One of the I love to do Old Pueblo playwrights. It's a great way to be on stage. It's a great way to get information. It's a great way to get a good credit for your resume, to flesh out your resume. If you don't have a lot of credits, there's staged readings, script in hand. You're supporting writers. You're supporting just an excellent way for you to get experience. You need to have your toolbox. And as an actor, your toolbox is your picture, your resume, and your instrument, and your voice, how you present yourself, how professional you are. Networking is very important. I'm not the best at networking. I'm an actor, but I'm really kind of shy. So some people would not agree with that if they saw some of the work I'd done, but I am. It's really hard for me to watch myself. The only thing that's been easy for me as an actor to watch myself in was a horror movie, because I didn't look anything like myself. And so I was able for the first time to objectively look at my work and not be so critical of myself. All actors are not that way, I found in New York. They love to see themselves and they think they're fabulous, and I haven't quite acquired that gift. But you have to keep working, you have to keep learning. I coach actors. I was surprised when Rosie said, yeah, I asked you to be on here because I hire your actors that have coached with you. Not because of my fabulous credits or anything that I've done, which I was kind of surprised about. I was like, far out, my kids are working, and one of my students is working in Justin's film with me, The Forsaken. And she's just been over in LA for 8 weeks, getting more credits, getting more experience. But as an actor, you need a third eye. It's really hard to look at yourself in the mirror and know how good you're doing. You need somebody to give you some feedback. That can be your friends, it can be your fellow actors, it can be an acting coach. As an acting coach, and as being coached as an actor, that's where I learned the most in the shortest amount of time, and was able to really get what I needed to get quickly. And that's what I try to give my students. I'm not very fuzzy, warm acting coach. I believe in telling you the truth. If you suck, there's reasons why you suck. And that's what you address. And that's what you work on. I don't think it does anybody any good to lie to you and blow air up your skirt when you don't deserve it. When you've done a really good job, you usually know it as an actor, or you should. And when you haven't quite hit the mark, you know in your heart, I didn't catch the moment, I wasn't there. I was thinking about this, or I was thinking about something else. I wasn't in the moment of where I needed to be. And there are exercises to get that. There are techniques. There are all kinds of techniques. I personally was trained in method as one at the Actors Studio in New York. I learned so much just by watching. So if you get the opportunity to be in a film with fabulous actors, watch them. Watch them. Stay on film. When you're on set, make sure that you let somebody know where you are, that you don't leave set, that they never, ever, ever have to come and look for you, which I've seen happen with actors, or they're yagging, or at an audition. You're yagging with other actors instead of preparing for what you need to do. It's not about networking then. It's about knowing the character that you're auditioning for, being prepared to do it, going in there and doing your job the best that you can, and then, which is really, really hard as an actor, to then drop it. And not all the way home from Phoenix, which is where I usually have to audition, but oh, I should have done that, and why didn't I do that? And what I have been gifted to find out from many casting directors is the reasons why I didn't get something, which you rarely ever get to find out. And so many times it's been because, well, we cast the children first and you didn't look like them. You did a great job. We'd have much rather cast you, but you didn't look like them. It had come down to just looks. It had come down to, you're too old, you're too pretty, whatever. Something that you couldn't really do anything about. It's kind of like that monologue that Dustin Hoffman does in Tootsie. You really never find out. But so often it doesn't come down to whether you did a great job at the audition. You want to take advantage. Yes, I did a great job at the audition. I did the best I could. I nailed it. I did my preparation. They sent me the script. I did my homework. That's what you have to do as an actor. You have to be prepared. You have to keep working and honing your craft. You should have a couple of monologues in your bag. You should be reading out loud every day. Read the funnies. Read the newspaper. Read magazine. Have cold copy. Be able to look at it and come off of the page. Know where to have your script when you audition so that it's not in frame. Know that you are looking from side to side instead of down, and all they see is your eyelids and not your eyes, which is the spirit. That's your soul comes through your eyes. That's probably 5 minutes, isn't it? I thought I got a score sheet, and I don't want to be a snorer, so. Instead of Q&A.
All right. Yeah? Check. Thanks. I did not mean to imply that you were not a fantastic actress. I've watched her audition several times and I think she's phenomenal, so I didn't mean to imply that at all. Playing the part of Laurie Franklin Garcia will be me. Laurie is currently working in Hollywood on the movie Orbs, shooting at the infamous Linda Vista Community Hospital, which was recently seen on Ghost Adventures. Abandoned back in '91, it's been a favorite location for horror movies. For example, it was the hospital in Pearl Harbor. There are good reasons for that. It is awesome. We are not alone here. So this is directly from Laurie. She's having a great time with that spooky, spooky place. All right, Laurie is a script supervisor, and she does really great work. I don't know how many of you know, but script supervisor are the police for continuity. They make sure that everything is consistent. So Laurie wrote down some things, the common mistakes that she sees actors make, and hopefully, if you know them, you can help avoid them, or help her with her job and help you look more professional in the process. Actors are concentrating on their performances, and they should. But a seasoned actor may occasionally overlook little details. Here are just a few things to keep in mind. Glasses. If your character has them, wears them, are they on or are they off? Do they take them off in the scene? When? Or vice versa, do they put them on? Often actors take off their eyeglasses just before the first line in time of their close-up. That sounds like a great idea to me. If you wear glasses, your character does not, please make sure you put them away before the scene begins. Wedding ring. Is your character married? Do you have it on? Be sure to check the marital status. Goes for all jewelry. Make sure your jewelry's off. You wear your character's rings, earrings, bracelets, and watch. Nail polish. Hey, did you have that purple nail polish on 2 weeks ago when you shot scene 48? Sleeves, were they rolled up or pushed down? Are they down in the normal position? Was your shirt tucked in, buttoned all the way up? Was the collar turned up? Necktie, which did your director, wardrobe, or supervisor finally decide on? It's not always your choice, but remember what they are. Hat on, off, when? Overlapping of lines. Don't step on a fellow actor's lines. If the director wants confused or overlapping dialogue, and granted you're not always in charge of this, but maybe try to get one clean take with a single close-up on the book. Your editor needs the clean dialogue in order to adjust sound so the audience can understand it as it becomes garbled with other sound and can be overlapped in post. Ad-libbing is incredibly popular, especially in comedy. Do get at least one take written on book. Accents and dialects. When using a foreign language accent or dialect, try to stay consistent. We all have seen those movies where people fall out of their accents. Hair ties, whatever style. I know I worked on one show where we couldn't remember what color hair tie it was, but it was actually important to the story. Whatever style, please sure it stays the same. Use the same hair products even. Was your hair in the front of the left shoulder? If it was long, is it wet? Have you been in the shower and rain? If so, your clothes should be wet, not just your hair. Left hand, right hand. Which hand was the briefcase in? Did I set it down after my first line? I took her right hand with my left hand, right? Eye line, screen direction. Know them, study them, understand them. Don't lose your close-up. If your eye line is off, your footage will probably end up on the cutting room floor. Okay? So, thank you, Laurie.
Rosie, I just worked with Laurie on the Four Horsemen. I can't say more how I was impressed with her work.
She's good. She's very good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hello everybody. I'm Rogelio Camarillo. My job as a production sound mixer is to ensure that we get good, clean sound on location. There are a couple of things that you as an actress, as an actor, can do to ensure that you sound as good as you should. For example, let's say the shot calls for you to be wired up with the lavalier mic. Using those mics, it's a balancing act. We want to get them positioned on you in a spot where we're going to capture your voice, the full, clear presence of your voice, yet at the same time keeping the mic hidden from the camera. So it's tricky. Once you accomplish that, you want to stay in that spot. You want to avoid anything that's going to get that mic out of position. If you do need to adjust your costume, let the sound department know. They'll double check that the mic is in the right position and that you're good to go, and we're going to be able to hear you nice and clear. Another example is, let's say this shot calls for a shotgun mic on a boom pole. When your director has you rehearse, that rehearsal is basically working as a sound check for the sound department. So the boom operator is memorizing your movements, which way your head will be turning, which angle, the loudness of your voice. The sound mixer will be double checking that the gain levels are good. It's not too loud and we get distortion, or it's too low and we get pretty much ambient noise instead of your voice. So what you do in rehearsal, you want to be consistent with that and do it in each take. So we know where you're going to be, when you're going to be there. A perfect example of why it's so important to be consistent. Out on location one morning, we were filming a gentleman, the character. He's a biker. It's a close-up shot, and he's on cell phones making a call. His head is tilted down a bit, which is where the director wanted him. So we do a rehearsal, sound check, mic position, check the recorder, it's all good. So since he's turning down, I'm going to come in under at this angle instead of up here. So the director calls action, we start rolling, and the guy starts going through his lines, and he has a mouthful of chewing tobacco and decides to get rid of it halfway through the line, right at the mic. So I get the mic out of this. I move it, of course, I don't want that on my mic. Just barely missed it, cut, no good. You know, I don't need to say more, right? Bada bing, bada boom. Stayed consistent throughout. Just a couple of quick things. I know time is limited, so if you kind of follow through on little things like that, you'll sound better on film, you'll be happier, your producer, your director will be happier, and I always say good films deserve good sound. So that's all. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Perry. I work as a director. I think many of you kind of know what a director does already, so kind of, you know, there are a lot of things you actors can definitely do to improve your performance, but I think what most of you might be interested in is what about the audition? I think getting past that audition is always the most important thing. And I think I do see a lot of mistakes being made in auditions that, you know, kind of made me go, my God, that was a waste. The problem is when people go into auditions, they act. Now a lot of you are like, wait a minute, I'm an actor. I was like, no. What us directors and casting directors are looking for is really how do you as an individual represent or, you know, play that character. We're not looking for a completely like, you know, like new character. There's no way any of you could act that is in our heads. No way. Because in our heads we've already created this fantasy world and, you know, there's nothing you can do. And, you know, you get one page. How are you going to interpret what we've wrote, you know, for like, you know, 100 to 120 pages. So instead, what we look for is how you as an individual, look, all of us, we're unique. We're unique people, we're different. Everybody has characteristics that make us unique to our friends. So we look for that uniqueness and what brings out that character, what makes you stand out from the other characters. And that's what's important for us. And I think a lot of people, they try to act. They try to be too matter of fact during auditions. They try to, you know, go, okay, it's written like, you know, I love you very much. You know, take out all the punctuations. Maybe you might want to say, I love you very much. You know, the subtext is completely different already. But what kind of a person are you? You know, I want to get a sense of that person, of that actor, you know, during the auditions. But instead, this person comes in and they start becoming somebody completely different. And I'm going to have to adjust. And I'm going to have to adjust there. And 9 times out of 10, you know, all I get is people pretending to be somebody. And it is not, how do I say, faithful at all. You're not playing yourself. Even Gary Oldman, if you look at Gary Oldman, if you notice the way he enunciates his words, the way his body language, his pacing, is still the same. Even though he plays all great characters, it's still the same. And one way we can always say that there are 2 ways that, you know, that this is why you have to be unique as an individual. One, think about, you know, cartoons, animations that you've seen. You can easily recognize those big name voices, right? And the reason why you can recognize them is because they're very unique. And sometimes you hear, oh, that's this who and who, that's this who and who. You know, they're so unique that even just by speaking and you can't even see their faces, you can identify them. And, you know, so what is your uniqueness? I think that's what every actor has to find about himself. And how many times have you been in a movie and the director was like, you know, when I wrote the role, I thought of, you know, Brad Pitt or something. You know, be like him. We've heard that before, right? But that's the thing about these great actors too. They, you know, they leave such a uniqueness that people are thinking about them when they're writing. So, you know, just like you would know directors in real life and, you know, producers in real life, try to do the same thing as well. You know? try to have a unique character that you can be really good at. And, you know, and then further on down the road, you know, feel free to explore. Heath Ledger, Dark Knight. We know how that went. But, you know, okay, I'm not going to get morbid here. But yeah, I stress to every actor, please find that unique voice in you. Even, you know, even for me as a director, I have to ask myself, how is my voice unique amongst all, you know, all the other directors out there? You can watch a film and you can, you know, okay, that's a Ridley Scott film. You can watch a film and, you know, okay, that's a Mel Gibson film or something like that. Each director all have their own styles and uniqueness, and it's the same with actors. You guys are artists yourselves. And so why are you trying to be like everybody if you're an artist? You know, be unique, and most importantly, be yourself. So remember, you're a human being, and you are different from everybody else. So once you find that, capitalize on that, and I really think you guys have something. Thank you.
Yeah, I wanted to know, how does a casting director work with the movie director then? With the casting director, is that preliminary auditions and then they pass it on to the director to make additional decisions? Or
I don't think that
how do they work?
Usually, the director will give a cast breakdown to the casting director. It'll have usually just a few words. They'll give that to agents. Agents will pick through their stable and send in the people they think most, or they'll send in, you know, usually that's why they're in 5-minute slots. They'll send in maybe 10 from each different agency. You're put on film. That film usually goes to the director. They go through that and pick from your film, your slate, on who they want to call back.
Well, it kind of varies. I have had experiences just like that. But I think the one that I'm most used to working is, you know, me and the casting director would actually, you know, break down the script, what kind of looks I'll be going for and things like that. And then they will put together a whole list of people whom, you know, they have casting directors. They don't usually hold open auditions. They have to know you. They have to know your agent, either your manager or, you know, somebody. And, you know, they will put it together and go, I know these people, they're really good, blah, 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 let's call them in for an audition. And then, you know, I would be in there, and then I'll take a look at it. And then, you know, from there, it's like a whole complicated process because, you know, I might like this person and that person, but then you put those two together on the second callback and there's no chemistry at all. And the actor that you like the least might have the best chemistry with somebody, so, you know, it's really one big shuffling block and all that. And if your schedules meet, that's another problem. Oscar.
I just wanted to stress the importance of the script supervisor, although she's not here and you took her place, because I've had a lot of experiences where I'm just really nitpicky about those kind of things, and there have been scenes where, like, it's a couple who's single and they're talking about getting married, and then you notice he's already wearing a wedding ring, and you're like, what? And then with the glasses thing, I worked on a project where the character was supposed to be wearing glasses for the first half of the movie, and then the second half, no glasses, and then they switched directors halfway through the movie, and the second director was shooting one of the earlier scenes, and she says, take your glasses off, and I said, well, my character wears glasses for the whole opening of the movie, and she goes, well, I'm tired of seeing the reflection of the camera in your glasses, so we're going to change that. And I actually argued that, and I was like, no, I think the character needs to keep the glasses. It goes with the continuity, and I literally got fired for speaking my mind on that. So I just wanted to let everyone know that, like, that's a real serious thing, and people do notice those things.
So Elska turns to producing her own movie after that.
Perry, I'm a character actor. I never get to play myself. I get to play vampires, I get to play people from other centuries, I get to play roles of Mexicans in Mexico, in Spanish. I've done Italian roles in Italy, speaking Italian. and nobody ever wants me to just be myself. I've got to do dialects and be from whatever country that they want. So as a character actor, I think it's different than the personality that you're describing. To be a lead actor who's a character, personality, and plays himself all the time. I never had that opportunity.
I think that's where you're not looking at it closely, in my opinion. I think whether you're playing a vampire, vampire slayer, or a priest, or anything, or a hobo, or anything like that, it is still your interpretation of that character. That is different. Acting is when somebody takes away everything about themselves, and they come up with, you know that when they start overacting and they start, talking in weird ways. I've seen a couple of your work. You talk pretty close to what you're talking about right now. It is still your interpretation of the character.
Yeah,
that is still you. And you know what? When directors hire you, I can guarantee you, most of the time they're thinking, you know what? He can play that. They're not looking at somebody else. I want you to play this or play that. They're gonna go just do your stuff and get it done. And for you, generally people who are more matured tend to be more self-conscious about themselves, which is great. I also think that a lot of people who are just starting out in, trying to be an actor, they are in some ways acting too hard. And my deal is, you don't have to. Just be yourself, be your unique individual, and respect the fact that you are an interesting person. I know this sounds bad, but you gotta be quite interesting if you want to become an actor. There's some masochistic, thing that comes with it for sure. But yeah.